no matter how much you're struggling, you're angry, you're suffering, you're happy, you're confused, you're grieving, whatever it is, just show up. The only reason I am here today, able to speak and breathe after my daughter's death, is because I kept on showing up.
Me.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
He's so cute.
So sweet.
Like this is third. I feel like at this point you might become a co-host.
It is the third.
How are you feeling?
Mixed emotions. Very mixed. It's a lot of emotions for me, and I don't mean it in a bad or negative way. I love to remember my daughter. Tomorrow is her seventh month since her departure. And it's life. That's how it is. So it's just a lot of emotions. I love you.
I love you so much.
Time goes by so quick. It doesn't stop for anyone. Like life goes on. That's the truth. Life goes on. Whether you're happy or unhappy, you're grieving, you're not grieving, it goes on, and you have to accept it. And I accept it.
I feel like there's so many ways that this conversation can go, but I kind of want to start with the intention, because when we spoke, you were like, I think I'm ready. And I'm just curious what your intention is for this today.
The intention since before Hala passed, not just today, was to keep sharing my story and sharing my story to as many people as possible, because I believe that we have a responsibility to share our pain and our joy. Pain and joy, they coincide. You can help so many people by sharing your story. And when you help people, you help yourself. So that has been my intention since Hala was born, is to share her. And the hardest thing, the thing I was scared of the most, happened. Hala passed away. So I am on this path, and I am here today with you, Sophie, because of Hala. And I will continue to be on this path because of Hala. So that is the intention.
Can you walk us through the beginning? Because I feel like the last 2 episodes that we did, we kind of have a backstory of you before Hala, just everything that kind of brought you to the yoga space in general, which Hala was a massive, if not the reason.
She is the reason.
Exactly.
No, she is the reason. Hala was born on November 4th, 2011 in Miami. Normal pregnancy, everything was perfect. Kind of took perfect for granted, to be honest, because I have my son who was 6 years old when Hala was born, and he's totally perfect health-wise and all of that. And as soon as she was born, the moment she was born, the second she was born, we knew, feeling her, hearing her, hearing the doctors around me. I had a C-section. She felt different. She barely cried. Her cry was like a baby kitten. And that's not a good sign, Soph, Comparing her to her brother, when they took him out of my belly, he was like, the room was shaking from how loud he was. And with her, it was like barely there, and they wouldn't give her to me. They wouldn't show her to me, immediately to the ICU. When you know. And as a mother, you know even more. Long story short, a lot of testing, a lot of doctors, geneticists, experts, all of it, you name it, came to see her, to check on her. Nobody knew what was going on with her. No one. And after 2 weeks of being in ICU, of course, my whole life was shattered at the moment, and I was sad, I was angry, I had so many questions, like, what did I do wrong to receive a daughter that is disabled, I was living in Saudi Arabia at the time. I only had Hala here, and I was supposed to go back. So we flew back to Saudi Arabia like two months after she was born. And I remember we were waiting for just this one genetic test that took weeks for the results to come out. And that genetic test is an ugly test. Like, it's an ugly disease. It's not a, her geneticist told me, I remember Dr. Bauer in Miami Children's Hospital, she said, I'm sorry, but I don't even think she's going to make it to her second birthday. Like, these kids, they don't make it to their second birthday. So, of course,
what did they diagnose her with?
There was no diagnosis yet.
So when she says these kids, what was she referencing?
Muscular diseases. We were waiting for this one muscular disease. I went back to Saudi Arabia, and that's it. I went back with the message where this girl is gonna die. Like, I was waiting for her to die, For so many months, 4 or 5 months, I just surrendered, and I'm like, God, if you're gonna make me and her suffer, take her. Like, I accept it. Just take her. And she stayed. She kept growing. She slowly reached her milestones, but she did it. And she did it because she was surrounded and nurtured with so much love. Just love. I was like, I'm just gonna love her, love her, love her. And not only that, I realized that I wanted to fix her so bad. I wanted to fix her so bad. And then one day it just clicked, Sophie. It was like, no, Mimi. You are the one that needs to be fixed. God wants to fix me, not her. And I asked myself, do I want to be miserable, or do I want to make the best out of what I have and learn my lesson from my daughter? God is sending me this daughter, this beautiful daughter, to teach me something.
Yeah.
So, Mimi, what do you want? Do you want to be depressed, and do you want to be angry at the world, and do you want to keep questioning and questioning and questioning, and you're not gonna get answers because it is what it is.
I feel like that takes a boiling point to be like, I have questioned and been angry to the point of like, there's no other option but to surrender at this point.
I didn't like the way I felt angry. I did not like the way I felt. I felt like there is a bigger reason. There is a bigger purpose. What is it? I don't know. I still didn't know what it was. She was like 5 months old.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So very little.
Little. 5, 6 months old, max 6 months. That was the point where I said, no, I am the one that needs to be fixed, not her.
That's very fast, actually, for that to have happened 5 months. And I thought it was going to be like a few years.
No, thank God.
So like the whole of her life, she really was poured into, and like you had that lens to see her through.
Right.
Which I think is literally why she outlived her life expectancy by 12x, 10x.
10x, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. She was 12. It was 1 month after her 12th birthday. So, this happened. Did what we needed to do. I refused to see any doctors at the time. I was like, if they don't have an answer for you, they can't really give you a solution. Mm-hmm. They don't have an answer. And they were honest. They said, we don't know. Just keep giving her what you're doing. Keep doing what you're doing. So I kept on doing what I'm doing. Therapies, love, nurturing, a lot of prayers, and just enjoying her, really enjoying that precious time that I have with her. When Hala was 2 years old, we permanently moved to Miami. Mm-hmm. And the way we moved was kind of aggressive, to be honest with you, because we came for a summer vacation in June of 2014. Me, my ex-husband, Hala's father, Hala, and Nasser, my son. Nasser was 8 years old. And one day, Sophie, my ex-husband, called me, and we were renting this apartment in Miami, and he called me to the balcony and he said, listen, I made a decision. This was like a month into our vacation. We were supposed to spend 2 months in Miami. And he said, we're not going back to Saudi Arabia. I canceled our return flights. Start looking for a school for Nasser because, school is approaching. August is approaching. And we're staying here. I made the final decision. I said, what do you mean? Like, And he's like, no, we need to be here. Hala needs to be in therapy. He had a valid point that yes, Hala needed to be here, but at the same time, it was like a big slap on my face.
No, there's also like a way to do
There's
things.
a way to do things, you know. I'm your partner. I'm your wife. I'm the mother. What about our whole life over there, you know? So he made that decision, and that was like another wave of shock to me after Hala's birth, where I had to like adjust to a new place, face the reality that I'm never gonna go back there and live there, start a new life, you know, just
How old were you?
Start a new life. I was 30 years old. Yeah, 10 years ago, June, 10 years ago.
Wow.
And I took Nasser to school. We got him a school, kept taking Hala to therapy, found Caro. Thank God for Caro. You just saw Caro outside.
I have questions about Caro, but I adore her.
Hala's second mother. Caro was with us then, supposed to spend just like the summer with us and then go back to Costa Rica. And then she eventually obviously stayed because of Hala. And that is when my real journey of transformation began, Sophie. You know, it was like, it was so real. I was so miserable with my ex-husband. I couldn't find the way out. I couldn't find the light with him. I couldn't see the light with him. And I felt so empowered being in the United States of America, knowing what kind of rights I have in America as a woman, as a US citizen. So I felt so empowered, and I felt even more empowered when I went into my first yoga class in 2015. So I moved in 2014. January of 2015 is when I started yoga. And I think we talked about this in the past podcast. I went into Ewa's class. And
an
Ewa,
actual angel,
a fairy. And I had no idea what I was signing up for. But that first class, Sophie, I was so lucky to feel that connection with the first yoga teacher, because yoga, correct me if I'm wrong, but for me is a student-teacher connection before anything. If you are not connected to the teacher, you will not go back to yoga. I kept on going, and I felt that Ewa was talking to me in class. I felt that she knew my life from all the wisdom that she shared, all the empowering messages that she shared. I would go home like, I don't give a shit. You can burn this house down, meaning my ex-husband, and I don't care. Okay?
Literally, like when people say like, what's the yoga high? It's that.
Your problem is not my fucking problem. It's not. So I kept on going to the point where he started to realize, like, what is this yoga that you keep going to? What's next? You're gonna sleep at the yoga studio? What do you know? Like, because he didn't like the empowerment.
Yeah,
you know,
totally.
Yeah,
you're transforming right before his eyes.
I didn't give a shit. I did my duties. I cooked. I made sure the house is clean. I paid the bills when I had to pay them. You know, like I had like wife duties that I did not neglect. I did not neglect my kids, but at the same time, I took care of myself. And I realized that nobody's going to take care of you if you don't take care of you. As simple as that. You need to take care of yourself. No money is going to take care of you. Nothing is going to take care of you. You need to take care of yourself internally, inside. So then I became a yoga instructor. I got certified 1 year after practicing with Ewa. She pushed me to do my certification. I got my certification, and I wanted to share the same feeling I got from yoga, which is the feeling of life is working for me rather than working against me. Okay, even with my abusive, toxic marriage, even with my sick child that has a terminal disease, life is working for me instead of against me. And I wanted to share that with as many people as possible, because so many people are struggling. Every day I meet people that are struggling. Every single day I meet people that are struggling. And I try my best to share with them or teach them that everything is temporary, number one. Number two, it's okay to suffer and struggle. And no matter how much you're struggling, you're angry, you're suffering, you're happy, you're confused, you're grieving, whatever it is, just show up. The only reason I am here today able to speak and breathe after my daughter's death is because I kept on showing up. Because when you show up, you face reality. You don't escape reality. But when you don't show up, you escape it, and then the process becomes harder and it becomes longer, the healing process, right? So this is what I kept on doing. I kept on showing up and showing up and showing up for myself and for others, and I kept on sharing, and I kept on teaching and teaching and teaching and teaching and teaching, and I kept on building community, because I also realized that we are nothing without the community. Community is the medicine. Community is everything. A supportive community that nurtures you, that wants you to succeed, that pushes you, that feels your pain. A safe space where you can just be, you know? You can't go to your corporate job angry and confused and crying. You can't do that. To yoga, you can. Mm-hmm. You can show up like that. Mm-hmm. You're a human being in yoga. So
I just have to say, like, your community is, first of all, it feels like it's all of our community.
Yeah, it is our community.
But you're at the core of it. Yeah. And I definitely want to keep on the trajectory of Hala's story and path. But I want to call it two things. One is that, like, you saying that you pouring into you, in my opinion, I think that's quite literally the reason why Hala lived 12 years, first and foremost. Yes. Like, that transformation, that radiates. And so that was poured into that beautiful girl. Yes. Okay. So first and foremost, like, you choosing that is the reason why she lived as long as she did. And second, that community that you built alongside Hala.
Yes.
The day that it was her life celebration. Yes. And seeing and feeling that room.
Yes.
It's like it was being built all along for that moment.
For that moment. Absolutely. Everything I went through the past 12 years, Sophie, especially in my yoga spiritual journey, my community journey, my community building journey, was preparing me for that day.
That's what it felt.
Preparing me for that moment.
Did you know?
And it was, no, I didn't know. But I knew when she passed away.
I have full body chills.
As soon as she passed away, and seeing the support I got from the community, like, what can we do? I can come clean your toilet. I can come this. I can come this. I can do this. I swear, I'm not exaggerating. Mimi, God put you on this path to prepare you for that day, to prepare you. And I was itching to go back to the community. A week, 10 days after Hala passed, I went back 2 weeks after Hala passed. I said, Mimi,
I was in one of your classes.
We're showing up. I love you.
No, I love you so much. But it's just like, it's like, I will never forget the first class that I went to yours after Hala's passing. It was 21 days after she passed.
Yeah.
And you always do mantra in your classes, but at the end of the class, it was you were singing, and it's like you could tell your voice was like beautiful and hurting.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the way in which the community just sang for you there, it's something that is imprinted in my soul for the rest of my life, but it just felt like everyone was carrying you.
Yeah.
You know?
100%. So, and the truth is, I'm still hurting a lot. And I'm going to be hurting for the rest of my life. People ask me, like, how do you do this, and how do you get over this, and how, I'm struggling, and I'm this and I'm that. I'm like, you really don't. It transforms into more purpose. Like, yes, I knew what my purpose was when I started teaching and all of that, but it transforms into more purpose. It transforms into more love. It transforms into more faith. You know, that's it. But is it ever going to go away? No, it's like a stab in your heart forever. I lost my whole life. My whole world was my daughter. And people that never met her knew that.
No, and the impact that that girl had.
Yeah,
like
the impact that she had to people that
and
never
still has
met her and
still has.
Yeah. And you wake up some days and you're like, is this my reality? Yes, this is your reality.
I'm curious, like, because you knew that this day was going to come at some level, like from a preparing standpoint.
I knew, yeah, you can, there's really no way to prepare. I was preparing more for her to be on a wheelchair before passing away, you know. I was like, okay, this is what's gonna happen. She was about to get her period and she was starting to struggle, Sophie, the last year of her life, because she was going through the puberty phase. Like the boobs started to come out, the pimples started to come out, the pubic hair is out, and she started to get really slow and weaker, you know, to the point where we had to do double knee surgery. She did not want to do the knee surgery. We kept postponing the surgery. We didn't do it. We kept postponing it and until she really needed it, you know. And I was just preparing myself. Okay, this girl is going to end up on a wheelchair. This girl is going to end up on an oxygen tank and then eventually on a bed. And everything is just going to shut down slowly, you know. And to be honest with you, that the thought of her being on a wheelchair killed me. Like, I hated to see her on a wheelchair because her brain functions like she's not, she knows.
Yeah.
She knows.
No, she knows more than all of us. Let's be real.
She knows a lot and she's a very smart girl. And she was gonna struggle so much being on a wheelchair, seeing everybody else around her not on a wheelchair. She had amazing friends that loved her, that were able, you know. So it was just too much for me to accept her being on a wheelchair. She did not want her period. She kept on telling me, I don't want to get my period. I'm like, Hala, but if you want to have kids.
You sounded like her.
Yeah, exactly. I don't want to get my period, mommy. I'm like, you have to get your period. No, I don't want. She did not want her period. She wanted to stay. She wanted to stay a little.
Because she's innocent. Yeah, I think her purpose was to be innocent.
So innocent. Sophie, like so innocent.
She's literally an innocent angel. An angel.
And this life, like Caro and I talk a lot about it, like this life doesn't deserve her. This life does not deserve her.
Like,
really.
The fact that she gave us the gift of 12 years even is like, thank you, Hala.
Yeah.
Thank for like
you
being
for
for as
the
long
lessons.
as
Thank you for the love. Thank you thank you. Just thank you for giving me the opportunity and the privilege to be your mother. Really. I feel it from my heart. Like, even when I go visit her at the cemetery, I say, thank you. And Caro tells me, how did you make an angel, Mimi? How did you produce an angel? I said, I don't know. How? I don't know. It really, it was like a miracle from God to change my life. God sent me pain, sent me a lot of pain to be able to change my life. Again, pain and joy, they coincide. If God didn't send me Hala, I would have stayed with this abusive person probably for the rest of my life, because I wouldn't have moved to the US.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't have been empowered enough to leave him. I wouldn't have been on the journey, the yoga journey, where you really get to know yourself and find yourself. All of this happened because of her. But then she came for me. She came
and left on her. She was like, I did my thing.
And she's like, I gave you what you needed. It's time for me to go. And I remember, like, it's crazy how the soul, I didn't feel she was going to die, but I think she felt she was going to die, because that weekend of December, she passed on December 11th, that weekend, the 9-10, I was in teacher training, and Caro sent me a message and she said, Caro's mom was here. We call her Abuela. And Caro wanted Hala to be with them the whole time. Obviously, she wants her to spend time with Abuela and all that. And Caro sent me a message. She said, Mimi, Hala's coughing a lot and she's weak. We tried to go out and she's not, and she wants to be with you. I said, bring her to the studio and let her sleep with me this weekend. Okay, great. So she came. We went home that Saturday after TT, And she told me, I want you to make me pasta. I said, okay. So I go home and I have the pasta, but I don't have the tomato sauce. I have butter. So I told her, Halita, is it okay if I make it with butter sauce? And she said, no, I want tomato sauce. I said, we don't have. She said, go to Publix and get it. I went alone. I left her at home. I went alone to Publix. She didn't want to come with me. She was so tired. I went, I got the pasta sauce, came back, cooked the pasta. She barely ate it, Sophie. And pasta is her favorite thing in the world. Like, if you give her a pot of pasta, she will eat it. She barely ate it. She couldn't eat it. She kept on, like, taking it out and spitting and all of that. Then we went to bed. Woke up on Sunday. She was supposed to go to a birthday party on Sunday with Caro. Caro was supposed to come pick her up. As soon as she woke up, she told me, Mama, I said, what? She said, she was sleeping next to me. She said, I don't wanna go to anywhere. I said, you don't have to go anywhere, Halita. Are you okay? She said, I don't want to go anywhere. I want to stay in bed. I want to stay in the bed. I said, okay. Stayed in bed, but it's not Hala, like, you don't want to go to the birthday, fine, but even the birthday.
Has she been like sick before with like a flu or something?
Yeah,
and like that, and she doesn't.
Sick. She's had COVID. She's been sick, but she never had that. Like she never expressed that she wants to just stay in bed, or she would, like, if we pushed her to go somewhere, she would go. So I called her doctor that day and I said, listen, like, this girl is not getting better. Now I feel like she has a fever. Said, I'm going to give you antibiotics. We gave her the antibiotics. She slept during the day for like 3 hours and then woke up. I made her favorite soup, the oxtail soup. I was like, she's going to be so happy when she wakes up. I went to bed to feed her the oxtail soup. Anyways, 7 p.m. comes and her fever went down. I said, let's take a shower. I put her in the bathtub. I said, maybe the bathtub will help her. Gave her a shower. Put on my pajamas. She was wearing my pajamas that night. I brushed her hair and then I asked her, am I hurting you? And she said, no, you're not hurting me. I brushed her hair and we went to bed. And then and then she asked me, she said, Caro's calling me. Can I answer? I said, of course, answer, Hala. It was dark. The room was dark. And she answered and Caro was like, Mi vida, blah, 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 all that. And then she told her, everybody's asking about you at the birthday. She said, really? Did you get me cake? And she said, yes, I got you cake. Tomorrow I'll bring it for you for breakfast. Okay, Caro. And that was it. She hung up. We slept. I woke up on Monday, the 11th, at 5 a.m. And, when it's so silent, there's so much noise and silence. I just knew it. Because the way she would breathe is so heavy because of her muscular condition. I put my hand on her back. Nothing, Sophie, nothing. I got up. I went to her. Halloli, Hala, nothing. Like a lot of stuff coming out of her mouth. I ran to Chris. I said, babe, get up. Hala's not responding. And he jumped. He's like, holy shit. He jumped. He came to the room. Called 911. 911 said, put her on the floor. We put her on the floor. She was gone. She was gone for hours, and Chris started doing the CPR on her. He did the CPR so hard on her. I mean, he was trying and kept saying, Hala, we got this. Hala, you're not leaving. We got this. And to the point where she peed, from how much he was pumping her. And I was on with 911 on the phone for 11 minutes. 11 minutes, the ambulance arrived, everything arrived. They took her. It was like a movie, Sophie, like a fucking movie. And went into the ambulance. They took her into the ambulance. I kept looking back in the ambulance, seeing them, like tubes and machines and everything, you name it. And I kept saying, is there a pulse? Is there a pulse? No, Mom, not yet, not yet, not yet. We get to Jackson Memorial Hospital. They were amazing. The ambulance, everybody was amazing. And like a team of doctors and people, and they cut her open to put the tube in, and it was just so much abuse, you know? But she's not there. She wasn't there. She wasn't there, but so much abuse. And I kept on looking, and there was this amazing nurse that held my hand. Her name was Aisha. And she told me, let's pray, Mama, let's pray, let's pray. And I'm just staring at them. And in the back of my head, I'm like, I don't know if I want my daughter to live like that, like on a machine. And, you know, and then the doctor looked at me and he said, one of the doctors at the ER, he said, Mom, we're going to try one last time. And I said, okay. They tried one last time. Nothing. Flat. And they all held hands and prayed, like they did a prayer on top of her. And I screamed my lungs out, Sophie, to the point where I think the hospital was shaking from how loud I screamed. Like, why? Why me? Everybody came to the hospital. The nurse called my dad. I didn't call Caro. I sent her a message in the ambulance. And I said, Caro, you need to come now. Like, I don't know what's happening. You need to come now. Everybody came. It was my best friends, my friends. My therapist showed up, which was amazing. Monica, who I have been doing the work with her. When Hala passed, it was 6 months since I started to do that work with her.
It's not a coincidence either.
It's not a coincidence. The inner child work. And yeah, they put her in a plastic bag, covered her in a plastic bag, and I looked at it and I'm like, we're all going there. All of us are going to be wrapped in a plastic bag to the morgue, into the ground, or however way you know, your traditions are. And it just made me think that, wow, what is this life? What is it? What is it? What it makes you realize what is important. What is really important, you know? Went home. This was at 6 a.m. Didn't leave the hospital till 10 a.m. Her doctor had to come. Dr. Floyd, he's amazing. He had to come to sign her death certificate and all of that. Went home in shock, really. Sophie, shocked. Like, I'm never going to be able to touch her again. I'm never going to be able to talk to her. And people tell you, she's with you, she's with you, she's with you. Okay. I know people are trying, but the truth is, no, she's not with me. She's gone.
How were the days that followed?
Very hard.
Do you remember them?
Yeah, I remember them. I remember being hit by tsunami after tsunami after tsunami after tsunami, screaming, yelling, shouting, questioning, laughing. I was on medication. The first 4 or 5 days, I was on heavy medication until we buried her. We buried her on Friday. I was on medicine. And
from Monica?
No. From my mother gave me, my friends gave me. No, Monica's actually was against it. She wants me to go, like, to feel it and go through it, you know. And I was still feeling it. It wasn't like I was numb or. After we buried her, I went off the medicine, and I felt that that was like closure, like she's resting now. You know, she's not in a fridge, or
you felt more peace in that
more
one?
at peace, that she's in the ground, she's there. Her body is there, she's not there. Her body is there. She's in Miami. I can go visit her anytime. I had one dream in the past 7 months. I was teaching at the studio, and in the dream I was teaching normal, and she walks in, she gives me a hug, normal, and she says, I gotta go back. And I said, okay. And she leaves, and I kept on teaching. Like, it was crazy. But so quick, you know. Many people had dreams about her. Caro had several dreams, and everybody tells me that the dreams are very positive and that she's running like a normal child. You know, she's not disabled and all of that.
Do you feel that?
Yeah, I feel that, you know, I feel that she's resting.
Do you feel her?
I feel her sometimes, not all the time. I feel her sometimes. I talk to her sometimes. And sometimes I don't feel her at all. Zero. Like, it's this process is so interesting. You know, you get days where you feel it's the end of the world and you're being slapped and slapped and slapped by waves, and then you get days where you feel that I feel that she's in such a better place. Like, she's so lucky. She's so lucky.
She's free.
She's free. And the only people that are free are the dead, really. You know, we have to deal with this life, and we have to do what we have to do on a daily basis to make our best in this world. And then I get upset when I see her friends, you know, like, this could have been Hala. You know, they're growing up, they're getting their periods, they're starting to put makeup, blah, blah, blah. So it's a mix. It's a mix, Sophie. Yeah, really.
I'm so curious what your relationship to God, universe, I don't know what you call it, is, your faith. Because, I mean, that reaction of like the why is the most human. Of course, any human would be like, why me? Like, why did this have to be my path? And at the beginning of the episode, you have such clarity and certainty on like the purpose that Hala served in this whole story, and not only just in your life, but in the way that it's actually making ripple effects. I would go as far as to say in humanity, truly. But still, like, do you have moments where you're like, okay, but why did it have to go through me? Yeah, what's your relationship with God right now?
A lot of acceptance, to be honest with you. A lot. Acceptance. And thank God for everything. I keep saying thank God. I don't question anymore, because why? I know and I don't know. You know? I know why. And at the same time, I don't know why. And I try to look at the positive. I choose to look at the positive more than pick on the negative. I can sit here all day complaining and nobody can say shit to me. People are going to say, I don't blame her. She lost her daughter. She lost her mind. I don't blame her. But I choose not to, Sophie. I choose to see that Mimi Yoga, the community, the teacher trainings, the classes are all because of her. Really. All because of her. I choose to see it that way, and I choose consciously every single day, and I choose to continue that legacy for her. That's it.
Yeah, because I feel like what most people's reaction is like, how do you keep like what you said, that you're like, how do you keep going? How do you choose life? How do you choose to be here?
You consciously choose. You wake up and you say, I am choosing this.
And your why.
And my why. I'm choosing. There's no other way. There's no magic pill, no therapy, no book, no guru, no medicine can make you choose. You have to be willing to choose. And I am willing and able, and I choose. Choice is a very powerful tool.
Yeah.
And I choose it every single day. I still have people in my life that call me every single day or text me every single day and I'm not feeling good. I didn't sleep well. Okay, enough. Like,
yeah.
And it's okay. My tummy hurts. I have my period. Great. But I don't want to hear the same shit every day. Enough. You know, you're blessed. You're good. Choose to see the good. Stop choosing to see the negative.
I'm curious because what you've been through or what you're still going through is like literally everyone's worst nightmare. It can happen to anyone, but it's like the thing that we fear the absolute most, the thing that you fear the most happened. Does that liberate you in any way?
Of course it does. Of course. It's interesting you asked me that because Joanna, one of my best friends, told me like 4 months after Hala's death, she told me, Mimi, don't misunderstand me, but I see you free. I really see you free. And I went to my therapist and I told her, I do feel free, but I feel guilty.
I was going to ask you.
Yes, I feel guilty. Like I don't want to feel free with guilt, and it sucks because you're like you deep in your soul you feel free. You know that this girl is resting and free, just free. And at the same time, why do I feel free? I'm not supposed to feel free. But no.
That's the word, the supposed to. That's why I'm so happy that you bring this up, because that's exactly it.
It's
the supposed
what society teaches you. It's what bullshit teaches you, that you're not supposed to. I got criticized face to face, like on my IG, people saying, I can't believe you're celebrating your boyfriend. At the time he was my boyfriend, your boyfriend's birthday like your daughter never died.
You're joking.
I swear to God.
Send me names.
Yeah.
Like I literally
And I reposted them. I reposted them. I'm like, the difference between you and I is I live my truth. I don't need to hide. Most of you hide your shit.
Because this is the quote unquote appropriate amount of time to grieve. This is what we've been seeing, what we've shown.
The truth is not many people want to see you standing up on your feet again, Sophie. I'm telling you, that's the reality of this world.
I think it's that, and I also do think that it's that they're like, we only feel comfortable with what we know. Like we're such familiar creatures that like we really only feel comfortable with what we've seen previously. Yeah. So first of all, I'm so incredibly grateful to you to show that side, because I feel like it's something that no one has seen, and like that is a more accurate representation, I think. And you have lost someone that like it actually doesn't even have a name for a mother losing a child. There's no name, and it's like you're doing it at the toughest degree and showing that there's another way to move through, to move with the guilt and the freedom, to move with the joy and the pain, to move with the acceptance and the rage and anger, and like all of it. And like that's what makes a lot of us uncomfortable, is that we just haven't seen that path before. Exactly. You know, it's not anything other than just we're not familiar with that level of expansion.
100%, Sophie. You said it perfectly. The problem, the issue with humans is they want everything to be perfect. And if it's not perfect, they want it to be imperfect. You know what I'm saying? They cannot see the in-between. And yeah, I say that over and over and over again. Yoga must be experienced. It's so hard for me and you to sit here and say what yoga is, because it must be experienced. But the in-between is the yoga.
Mm-hmm.
The in-between is the yoga. The yoga teaches us that life can be perfectly imperfect. What I do on my mat is a reflection of what I do off my mat. What I do on my mat, some of it is easy, some of it is hard in 1 hour. Same as life. Some of it is easy and some of it is hard.
Some of it is present and some of it is looking over somewhere in the room.
Exactly.
Both are you.
Exactly. The in-between is the yoga. The knowing that your body can be moving and working, but your mind can be calm. That is where the yoga is. And Ceci told me the other day, Mimi, you're enlightened. I said, no, I'm not enlightened at all. No, nobody's enlightened. You just choose to go through that path the way you...
But you choose the path of the light. Yeah, that's for sure.
I choose the path of the light, but I'm not enlightened. I'm far away from enlightenment. If I'm enlightened, then I'm not attached to this dress. I'm not attached to this bag. I don't care how my hair looks like.
We're not attached to our people, your daughter, your son.
Not attached to anything.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Right.
Zero.
Right.
Lucky them who are enlightened like that.
Yeah.
But living in this world and this material world, and it's hard. It's not that easy to be enlightened, but you try every single day. Every single day you try. You like you said, you consciously choose to be positive, to be happy, to see the best in life.
Is there something that you tell yourself every day?
I don't have like an affirmation every single day. I tell myself a lot every day, not just once. So there's a saying, and now Chris says it. It's like I take a deep inhale, like without even noticing, Sophie, and then Ya Rab. I say Ya Rab. Ya Rab means, oh God, oh Lord. So it's like a little mini prayer. It can happen any time of the day, and I see myself saying it a lot more, and then I follow up with Alhamdulillah ala kulli hal. Thank you for everything. Thank you, God, for everything. And it really soothes me. I don't know, it works. It soothes me. I feel,
it goes back to gratitude.
Yeah, gratitude. Really, but I don't have like affirmations I read where I am grateful for this. I don't. I have nothing against it, but I just
maybe it's not even affirmation. I'm just curious because like you're saying, it's like literally an active choice. Like every day you can choose to be miserable at the fact that you were handed this card, or you can choose to follow the path of the light. And I don't know, for me, at least in the morning, it's like I have like these moments where it could be hard to wake up, or it could be like a harder thing to just like decide to get there, and it's like having certain things that like anchor me when like my soul might not be there yet. Do you have anything that's like, or you just like move through the day and it finds you when it finds you?
I don't have anything that... I understand what you're saying. I don't even have like a morning. I think some people they have their morning routine. The apartment we live in is exposed to the water, and the views are amazing. So I don't know if that helps me, like just waking up and looking at the water and really knowing that I'm lucky. I'm so fucking lucky to live in a place like that. I'm so lucky to have a roof on top of my head. Sometimes my friends tell me, Memes, come on, you're being so dramatic. I'm like, no, this is really how I feel. I feel so lucky. I feel lucky to be able to for my feet, for my hands. And as I said, losing a loved one changes you. It helps you understand what is important. What is it that's important?
What's important to you now?
Being present. Presence is so important. Definitely my son, my fiance. No more, even though it's part of my job to like, part of my like yoga job is to be nice to everyone and welcome everyone and all of that, but no more extra of that.
That's a good one.
No more extra of that. Like I was telling Carolina Reyes, Carolina Reyes, I was telling her, she's traveling right now, but she keeps telling me, Mimi, what you told me resonated with me so much. I said, what? And she said, I told her, I said, Caro, if it doesn't make my nervous system at calm and feel good, I don't want it. I don't want it, whether it's a person, it's a place, it's a movie, it's a show, I don't want it. I want to be present and at peace. That is what I'm prioritizing right now.
So what right now is bringing you that?
Staying focused at yoga, teaching the yoga and teacher trainings. Just staying focused with my yoga career. That is helping me a lot. And doing things with Chris that I not necessarily never did, but that I didn't prioritize in the past, like taking a whole day off just for him and I, cooking for him.
I love this.
Stuff like that. Yeah.
Like prioritizing joy.
Prioritizing joy and our time together, because he got hit hard too with Hala's death. Until today, he cries and he just cannot believe it. And as soon as she passed, he told me, he said, we're gonna get married. I'm getting a ring, blah, blah, blah. And I was so angry. I said, now? Now you want to do that? And he's like, he tells me, babe, stop saying that. I fucked up. I messed up. I know Hala was supposed to be there for this moment. I'm like, exactly. Hala was supposed to be there for this moment, because this is what Hala wanted for us.
She's going to be there.
Yeah.
Oh, she's there.
Oh, she listen, Hala, I know that Hala left for us to be in this moment.
Yeah, again, full body chills.
Yeah.
Like Hala was there in Paris. Hala is going to be there.
All.
She's like, I'm peacing out. You guys do your thing.
Out, and you guys need to be together. Yeah. So, yeah, just like, what is it that brings your nervous system calm? What is it that brings your nervous system joy? Do more of that. As simple as that.
You do feel more liberated. And I remember in one of the episodes that we did together, you said it so clearly. You were like, when talking about your relationship with your ex, that you were like, you can lose your house, you can lose your purses, you can lose all of your whatever, like all of your material things. You also said you can lose your kids. You said you can lose all of those things. What I refuse to lose is myself.
100%.
And I see you right here in front of me, and it's like, you have lost.
Yeah.
And you are, I've never felt you more yourself. And you've always been so alive and so yourself.
Yes. But
I just want you to know.
Not to that point. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you. It's a lot of work. So, inner work is hard. It's hard to go in.
But you do it. And that's like, again, like with like this new way
I choose to do it, because every time I do it, I peel another layer, and I peel another layer. I'm like, oh my God, this shit actually works. In the moment.
What do you feel when you peel the layer?
I feel at ease. I don't feel that I need to make a big deal out of something the way I used to. So it could be something silly, like in my relationship with Chris. Like Chris and I are in love. We love each other and everything, but we do have our ups and downs. We do, And for example, I don't like the way he eats. Or
Chris, we love you still.
We love you so much, but I don't like the way you eat and make a mess on the sofa or whatever it is. But it's not the end of the world. Enough. This is the work we do. Don't try to control the things that don't need to be controlled. They don't. Just like he is giving me my space and my freedom to be Mimi, okay, and unapologetically Mimi, I have to give him that space too.
How do you deal with, like, do you still feel like there's standards or like expectations of people at all? Because this is where I struggle sometimes with that. Like sometimes I feel really like just like let people be, like what
Yeah,
you're saying, like let people be. But sometimes I'm like, okay, but I also have like needs and expectations. So like where does that lie for you?
It depends. If you're talking about a friend, just be honest with people. Be honest with people. Tell them how you feel without fighting them, without, being disappointed from them or anything like that. Tell them, babe or my love or whoever it is, your sister, your friend, your cousin, your boyfriend. Tell them how you feel. I feel this way. I feel that this is what I need.
And then if they give it to you or
and
not.
they give it to you or not, then, from there
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to talk a little bit about the inner child work that you've done, which again, like I said, it's not a coincidence that you just happened to have started that 6 months prior. What is something that you feel comfortable sharing that is things that doing that kind of inner work has released you from?
I never believed in it, to be honest with you. Never. And Joanna has been telling me for the past 4 years, Mimi, you need to go do that work. You need to go. I'm like, I used to make fun of her, to be honest. I'm like, this work is not for me. What inner child? Like, they take you back to when you were 6 and 7 and 8 and 9. And like, why? So you start to see the patterns that you inherit from your childhood, from your parents, from your childhood, how you were brought up, all that stuff. You start to see those patterns taking over in your today life. But I started to see that when Monica would tell me. I would go to her furious, this, okay, let's go back. What happened back then? I'm going to give you an example. So when I first went to Monica, I went with no expectations. I was desperate for healing and for like just...
Yeah, what prompted 6 months? Like what prompted it?
I'll tell you what happened. What happened is I was moving out of Brickell. My apartment in Brickell. And my lease was up and I just refused to pay the amount I was paying. I said, it's time for me to buy a home. I can save that money to put a down payment, buy a home, all that stuff. So I moved in with Chris, and Hala and Caro moved in with my father. And I would see Hala in the weekend. I would see Hala every day, but in the weekends, Hala would sleep over. So I think that made me feel so sad and upset until I bought a home. I was in the process of buying a home, but it made me feel sad, this separation with Hala. I think this is what triggered it. I don't know, but now I'm going back. I think this is what triggered it. So I went to her and I told her, like, I don't feel well and I don't feel good and all of that. And then we started talking and she was, they ask you a lot about your family history. How was your mother? How was your father? Blah, 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 all that stuff. And she said, how old is Hala? Hala's 11. Okay. What happened to you when you were 11? I said, I had a pretty chill childhood, but I remember that my mom was not really present when I was 11, I told her. And my mom was not present, not because she didn't want to be present. She wasn't present because she was so busy building her business, being an entrepreneur, traveling to Europe to buy all these clothes. She had a clothing store. And she was a beautiful woman, and she was so into her world, my mom. And I remember my dad was doing the homework with us. My dad was making sure that we take a shower, and my dad was also working, but and he wasn't an entrepreneur, so he used to come at home at a certain time. So I told her, I said, yeah, I don't remember my mom so much when I was 11 years old. And she said, okay. She said, and you are moving in with Chris now? I said, yeah. And she's like, and Hala? I said, Hala's going to my dad's house. And she said, have you ever been separated with Hala? I said, no. She said, and how old is Hala? I said, 11. She's like, you're doing exactly what your mom did. Imagine. I was like, holy shit. Like, without...
subconscious programming.
You, without even thinking, you start saying, my mom left me at 11. It's okay. Hala's going to be fine. Like, it's not... but no, it is a problem.
Wow. That is powerful.
Yeah, very powerful. Without even thinking, without even nothing.
Thank you for sharing that, first of all, because it's, you know, that's very generous of you to share something like that.
No.
But I think that, like, it's such a great story because people think that, like, if you go to therapy or do inner child work, like something super, like what you see in movies or shows, like traumatic happened to you in your childhood. Yeah. But that energetic nuance of not having presence is a trauma.
Yes. It can be little
things like just like that presence is the thing that you value the most. And that's the thing that you were deprived of.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. And also understanding that your kids owe you nothing. Nothing. Your children, they owe you nothing.
Say more.
Yeah. They don't owe you shit. Your path is your path. You were trying your best. I'm talking to my parents. They tried their best. They succeeded in some parts. They failed in some parts. Same with me. I tried my best with Hala and with Nasser. I succeeded in some parts. I failed in some parts. Right now, I want to repair as much as possible. I don't want to repeat the same patterns I went through with my parents. And I want to provide the best life experience to my son.
That's so beautiful.
I want to, as much as I can.
I can't remember who it was that said it. I feel like it must have been like either Glennon Doyle or Brene Brown, because those are my two like go-tos. Yeah. But I think that so many parents, I'm not a parent yet, but so many parents fear that they're like, I'm going to fuck up my kid, or like I did something wrong or whatever. And it's like everyone fucks up their kid in some way. Everybody does something wrong. But to your point, it's in the repair. Yeah. It's in the acknowledgement, not in the running away from it, not in the shying away from it. So all of the work that you've done up until this point is allowing for the repair with Nasser.
It's allowing for the repair with Nasser. Exactly. Now, is everything going to be repaired? No, not everything is going to be repaired. Nasser saw things that he was never supposed to see. Nasser saw his father beating me. Nasser saw so much abuse in the house, so much. But how is that going to be repaired when he gets convinced enough to go to therapy and does this work? It will be repaired for him, but he's not ready to do that work. Like I told him, you know, I can send you to therapy. He's 18 years. He's going to be 19 at
when
his
age. You taught me this. When the student is ready,
the teacher will appear.
The teacher appears.
100%. And no stress. I just want to be a good example for him. I want to be honest. I want to be authentic. And I want to be myself in front of him or in front of anyone.
It's like, I didn't know that you could possibly be more yourself.
Yeah, you can be more yourself.
No, I'm saying you specifically. Like, I feel like from the moment I met you, I'm like, I didn't even know that a person can even be even more liberated. But like, you're just such a great example of that liberation in all fronts. And I think that grief is one frontier that like we really don't have a lot of examples of people that have shown what it could look like to move with it. Because what I've heard from so many people that have lost really close people in their lives is that it's something that is now a part of you. Like for the rest of life, it's like you don't lose it. It's just like something that's with you.
It's with you.
But that you can have it with you and still be free.
Exactly. You can have still it with you and be alive. And you can have it with you and go party. You can have it with you and cry. You can have it with you and be you. Accept it. I go to places sometimes where I get triggered, you know, where I used to take Hala a lot or whatever, like a restaurant or the beach or something. And the wave hits me. I cry. I tear. I remember her. Like it happened to me last Saturday at the Edition. It was my first time going to the Edition, and we loved to go there together. And I cried. I teared, and all of it, and that's it. And then life goes on. My day went on. You know, like
allowance. Like you give yourself permission to feel it.
Accept. Allow. Don't resist it. Do not resist it. Don't.
That's it.
Don't resist it. The more you resist it, the more you prolong the journey to healing or feeling better or acceptance even. You know, healing is healing. We heal until we die, whether you lost someone or not. That's it. But acceptance is very important. You have to accept. You have to choose to accept. You have to choose. You know, people ask me all the time, how are you so positive? Blah, blah, blah. I don't, like, they think I'm on like a happy drug or I choose.
I've had a lot of people lose people this year, and it's like there's like a fear of saying the wrong thing, doing the wrong thing. For anyone that's listening that has someone in their life that is grieving, that's in a very hard moment at this time, what are things that are helpful and what are not helpful?
Try to hold the space more than try to, like, for me, I did not find it helpful when people would come to me and say, she's with you, she's in a better place. Okay, I know all these things. Just give me a hug and tell me, I feel you. I love you. I'm here for you. I know it's painful. The more you validate that pain, the easier it is. But the more you, like, how are you feeling? How are you? And I know everybody has good intentions. Everyone has good intentions. And to be honest with you, Sophie, it's hard. Like when something like this happens, it's hard for so many people. They don't know what to do. They don't know how to react. They don't know what to say. They don't know if they should visit or not visit. They don't know if they should send food or not send food. I loved having people around, and just to hold space, just to be with me when I'm crying, just to be with me when I'm laughing, just to be with me when I'm whatever,
Just be.
So just there. Just be there, just be there. Be there, not for you, be there for them. You know what I'm saying? Be there for them. I had people like when we were burying Hala on the Friday, some people got offended that they were not invited to the burial. Like, come on, give me a fucking break.
No, you're joking.
I swear. Like, I'm very close to her. I should have been there. They didn't tell me. They don't dare to tell me, but they told some of my other friends. And it's not about you. It's not about you. My advice to whoever is going through grief is give yourself the space to grieve. Allow yourself to grieve. Let the waves hit you, and they will hit you hard. They will hit you so hard. Don't resist. Surround yourself with the people that make you feel good while you're grieving. They make you feel at peace, at ease. That's it. What else can I say? Nothing. There's really nothing else. Ride the wave.
Ride the wave.
Ride the wave. And show up. Don't like, I got so many messages from mothers that lost their kids. It's crazy how you start connecting with all those people I don't know on my social media. Like, I lost my daughter a year ago. I lost my daughter 2 months ago in a car accident, not even a terminal disease. And I just can't. I can't live without her. I can't stand up. I can't this. Yeah, now you can't, but eventually you can, and you have to help yourself. You have to help yourself. Like anything in life, you have to save you.
Mm-hmm.
You're allowed to cry and stay in bed and everything, but not forever. Like you need to get up and show up and keep going. And we're all
grieving.
gonna die.
Yeah, we are. That.
The truth is, we're all gonna fucking die.
Mm-hmm.
That's the reality of life. Nobody's here forever. I lost my angel, I miss her. I look at photos and I'm like, I cannot believe this. Like, I can't, her voice, her little voice, her routine. Like, I miss her. But she had to go. She wanted to go. She wanted to go. I believe that in my heart. I believe that she wanted to go. Yeah. And, life doesn't stop for anyone.
Well, I can speak for myself and for literally anyone who has had the pleasure of crossing your path in life, that there's so much gratitude to you and to Hala for what you do, what you've done, what you continue to do, how you show up, how you expand.
Thank you.
How you just, your presence liberates.
Thank you, my love.
I hope that you know that at your core, that your presence liberates without you having to do anything.
Thank you. Thank you. Keep going. We got to keep going.
forever. Forever. I love you.
I love you so much.
Incredible. Thank you. Oh.